service for a minute. Let's see if we are back live. Welcome back in, guys. I hate technical difficulties here. I feel like I always have them too because I don't go live often enough. Welcome back. I'm just double checking, making sure that we're good to go here. All right, it looks like we are connecting. I think we're back. Hopefully. I don't know what happened, but it just booted me right off. Okay, I think we're good. Let me just check my mic. Looks like we are. All right, sounds good. All right, so let's pick up back where we ended off. We were making these loaded pockets. I apologize for that. I literally had to close out of the entire streaming software and open it back up again because something was not right. It wasn't connecting. But we're making these loaded pockets. What we did was we folded our paper bags and then we added our pieces of decorative paper to the front 3 pockets of the paper bag, or what will be the pockets. We haven't glued any of these sides down yet, so they are not technically pockets yet. But this is where we are right now. Hello. I apologize. I don't know. I honestly don't know why I froze up like I did. I don't know. It's funny because this area, we tend to get patchy service, and there should be no reason for it because it's like we're literally just on the outskirts of Disney. So, but our service isn't always the best. Okay, so back to where we were before. I've put the paper on. So now what we're going to do is we're going to start doing a little bit of decorating. But I think first I'm going to go ahead and glue these sides down just so that our pockets are, formed. And again, we'll just take my Fabrifix and I'm going to just use the Fabrifix right along the insides of these pockets. So I'll do a little bit there. A little bit there, and we'll glue that one down. So there's one pocket, and we'll do the same thing with this second pocket, or the middle pocket. Just a little Fabrifix on either side, and we'll glue that down. All right, so now we are glued. So now we have our full pocket, so one big pocket in the back here. We have a pocket here. Oops, this isn't quite set yet, but we have a pocket here and a pocket here. All right. All right, we're gonna start doing a little bit of decorating on these. Now, what I like to do is I like to add some lace details. And I also like to add other little things like fringes. I've got this little fringe, or I can do like little pom-poms. I have a bunch of little decorative lace pieces. Let's see. Let's use some of this. I like this lace right here. I think that is pretty. So let's just cut a quick little piece of that lace. And I'm just using my my pocket as kind of a guide on size. So we'll use that. And then let's see if I have something else that I could put, maybe like rickrack, or I do have some cute rickrack. We could do like a rickrack on the front, which would be cute. I do like that. Let's do some of the rickrack. And we'll just cut a little piece of that. But you can be totally creative with what you're doing. All right, I'm going to go ahead and glue this down. Take a little bit of that Fabrifix, and we'll glue this first little piece of lace right down to the front. Now I left a little bit on the bottom like a little border on the bottom where I didn't cover. You don't have to do that. Like this one, I actually pulled the lace down so it covered the entire bottom. But this one I'm gonna leave up just a little bit. And then we'll put our rickrack right on the top of that, kind of right down the middle. Take some of that rickrack, lay it in the glue. There. I think that's so cute. The orange kind of pulls in from the orange of the pumpkins. All right, then I'm gonna do another little bit of lace, I think, at the top of this pocket. So I could do the same kind of lace, but I think that will cover up too much of my pumpkin. So I want to find something kind of small. Let's see. Got this one. What's this one? This is a small little piece of lace. I'm just looking around for, this is kind of cute. This is kind of small. Yeah, let's do that one right there. We'll just do that nice little small piece of lace on that second pocket. So this is the fun part when you can just decorate these up. So yeah, we'll just put that one right across the top of this middle pocket. There we go. And you can be as fancy or as basic as you want with these. Obviously these, I'm making them to go into a journal, so I want them somewhat flat. But if you were making them for, you know, for something else, you could actually punch holes maybe in the side over here, and you could make like a little binder or a little like 3-ring. You could put a bunch of these together and make like a little 3-ring multi-pocket setup here, which would be really cute. Then you could stuff these a lot fuller. But because I'm kind of keeping them flat for what I'm doing, I'm not going to add anything too big and bulky to the front. All right, so now let's do some more decorating here. I've got a bunch of little pieces of little bits. Here's a cute little flower, some little bits of applique, some little things that I've kind of just saved up. I've got little tiny ones here. I don't know. Let's just go through my stash and see what I have. This one might be cute. It's kind of cute. I also have this netting, which I'm going to show you what I used some of this netting for, because I used some of the netting on one of my tags that I put together. So I'm going to save that to do a tag. But I'm just trying to decide what I want to do on the front here. I have, oh, that's the same. All right, so I have this one. I think I liked that one. Although that's cute too. If we did something like that. Oh, that's very cute. Yeah, I think let's do something like this. All right. So I have like these little scraps of applique. This is just one. Honestly, what I do is when I go to like the Goodwill bins, I will look for like old wedding dresses or, you know, pieces of lace or anything that has like a pretty little applique on it. And I'll get it and then I'll rip it apart and like take the pieces off of it for crafting. It's a cheap way instead of going and buying brand new. A lot of the vintage laces are so pretty as well. So I'm going to use this little applique, which I believe came off of, I think this one came off of a veil, a wedding veil that I had found. But we'll use that little piece there. And then I have this little flower applique that I thought we could put on the front. And then I have some of these little paper flowers, which this is kind of a little ecru color, which might be pretty on the front of that. So I just kind of like to layer things up a little bit just to give a little bit more dimension. Here's another little cute applique that I could have done. It's got some orange, but I'll save that one for something else. I'm just kind of working along here as I go. Don't really have any plan for these as far as decorating goes. I kind of have somewhat of a plan, but I kind of play around with things until I like how something looks, and then I'll just go with it. So I like how this one looks. So let's just go ahead and glue this down. Now this is where hot glue would come in handy, but like I had mentioned in my previous video that I had started, I can't find my hot glue gun. I do not know what I did with it. I don't know if I left it at the school or if it's here and it's just hiding somewhere here. I feel like it is here. I just was in such a hurry on Friday that I probably set it down somewhere and I don't know where I set it down. All right, so there is that. Let's do this one on top. Let's do a little bit of glue on that one. We'll kind of set that one on top of it like that. And then we've got this little paper flower. Now what I'm thinking I want to do on top of this little paper flower is I want to find like a little flat back bead of some sort to put here right in the center. I think that would be very cute. Could also take and layer a little bit more and do another little layer like that. That's actually really cute also. I like that as well. All right, let me look in my stash and see what I have for flat back beads or something that I could put in the center. I have some cute little stickers also, which if I didn't put anything in the center, I could put a little ladybug. See the little ladybug? This is like one of those little 3D stickers. That might be kind of cute also because it's kind of an orangey color. I think I might do that. I think that's kind of cute. Let's just put this little other applique on top of that paper flower. So now I got a nice little 3D looking flower here. And then let's take this little 3D sticker of the ladybug. I'm going to put a little bit more of my Fabrifix on there as well. And let's just stick that little ladybug on in the flower. Gives it a little bit of color. How wide and how long is this? So let me show you one that I haven't put together yet. I showed this in the other portion of this video before I got bumped off. My internet bumped me off here. But these are, let's find one. Okay, so this is just a regular paper bag right here, as you can see. The paper bag itself is 10.5 inches by just over 5 inches. So it's a 10.5 by 5 inch paper bag. We folded it about, what was it, 4¼ inches from the bottom. So we folded it up 4¼ inches, and then we folded it this back so that this was about a 2-inch fold. So this actually created 3 pockets. So now we'll have the pocket of the bag, the middle pocket, and then the front pocket. And then we covered these pockets with the paper of the corresponding sizes. And we left a little bit of a border from the bag. And then we went ahead and glued down our pockets. So this one I hadn't glued down yet. So just to kind of show you, for those of you who are hopping in new here, that's what we're working on. And so this is where I am at right now on this one. We added some lace across the front with some rickrack. I added a thinner lace here on the second pocket, and then we added some applique with this kind of cute little floral detail on the front, just like this. Now, as you can see, this back is still open. Not necessarily open, but I didn't glue this down. You could glue this down if you wanted to. I am leaving this open because what I'm going to do is I'm going to set it on a page of a journal, like a half page. I'm going to set that on that page. So that way you could either take it out or leave it in the journal, or you could go ahead and fix it to the page of the journal. So that's why that back I didn't glue down as of yet. Okay, so now what I can do is I have a lot of scrap paper left over from cuts. And as you can see on this one, I used a piece of the scrap paper. It was the same paper that's on the back of my envelope. I kind of made like a little washi tape type of border that I put across the front. I'm not going to do that on this one, but I might do that on this one, on the back pocket. So let me see what I have for extra scraps. Now, all of my digitals, if you like these papers, if you like the deer and the pumpkin and the fall themed papers, these papers are all part of my digital for this month over on Patreon. So you can head to the link for my Patreon. It's in the description of this video. And you can become a member, a tiered member, and you will get access to my digitals. All right, so let me see here. Just looking to see if I have anything that matches what I've got here. This might be cute. This is the green. That is actually really cute. It's got the polka dots. I kind of like that. I found a piece of, this was just a little piece of cut off from another one that I did, but that would actually look really cute on the front here. You could actually even make kind of like a belly band as well. So you could put stuff down behind this like that, or you could just glue it down and then just have it as the pocket. So, I mean, I kind of like that idea to kind of hold things in the back, which I think I might do. I think I kind of like that. Let's do that. Let's just do a little bit of glue on either end of this little strip. And it's the exact same size because it was just a cut off of another piece that I used. All right, so let's glue those down. Welcome back in, guys. Yeah, our last live, for some reason, it booted me off. I don't know, my internet sometimes can be kind of sketchy here, so I had to start a whole new live. So there's actually two parts to this video. There'll be the first part, which was the start of this, and then the second part is this one. All right, so now I have a cute kind of like belly band thing going on here in the back. All right, so let's set this aside and let's work on some things to go in this little loaded envelope. All right, I'm just gonna set all these little papers aside for now. I have a bunch of chipboard. This is actually from a Saltines box, but I will take like a box like that and I will cut it down into these small little pieces because these are perfect to make tags out of. So these, like I said, it's just a food storage box, saltine crackers. Let's take one like that. Let's take a small one and let's do maybe one more. We'll do two like that size. All right, so what we're gonna do with these is we are gonna make these into some tags that can go into our pockets. And I'm just gonna cut the corners off on these. I'm not doing this, I'm just eyeballing it. What I'll do is I'll cut one side off and then I'll take the side that I cut off, hold it on the other side and cut the other side like that so I have it even. And I've got a good shape there going on. This one I'll do a little bit shorter since it's a shorter tag. It's 2. And how about, let's do this one kind of a nice long one. I'll do this one like that. All right, so now I have 3 tags that we can cover with some paper. And this is also a great use for your scrap paper. If you have scrap paper that you're trying to use up, this is definitely a great use for that. Let's see. Will this fit? Oh, just will fit. You know what? It will fit if I cut this down a little smaller. I have this cute little pumpkin digital from my collection, and it almost fits. It almost fits. So I could, yeah, I'll just cut this down just a little bit. Let's just cut the bottom off of this just a little bit, and I think it will fit then. Yes, perfect. Okay, so find some papers that you want to use, and then all I do to do these is I'll take my glue. You don't have to use, this is actually a really good use for your glue sticks. I just don't have my glue stick right in front of me, so I'm going to use my Fabrifix. But put glue on one side of your tag, and then glue this to the back side of your paper. So I'm thinking about right there is good. I'm gonna just glue that to that one. I'm gonna let that one dry for just a second. Let's see if we can do this one. Yeah, that one's not gonna work. Let me find some other pieces of fabric. So I've got this one. This is the same. This is from my digital also, but it's just a hair short. So I'm going to cut a little bit off the top on this one. There. And we'll do the same thing on this. Just put some glue. Basically, I'm just wrapping these tags with the paper that I want to use. All right, we'll put that one on there. Let that dry. Let me find one more paper that I want. Something maybe with greens in it, since I have, let's see if I have anything with green. My greens are kind of, oh, how about this one? This one's got some green. Do that one. That one's got some green. Now I'm also going to cover the other side as well, but I'm going to use some wrapping paper that I have left over for the other side of these tags. Let's see. Will this fit in here? Nope, little too wide. All right. So I'll let that one sit. All right, so then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back in and just trim these down. All right, so there's one tag right there, the front of one tag. Let me just trim this top just a little bit. Perfect. Oops. And there's another one. And I've got this last one here. I think it's just about dry. All right, so once all of these get cut, then we're going to do the same thing on the other sides, just so that we have both sides covered. All right, so there is my third. Now I have this really pretty wrapping paper, like scrapped pieces of wrapping paper that I have left over. And it's just a really pretty kind of fall color. So I'm going to use this on the other side. And just like I did, I'm going to take my glue and just glue these right to the wrapping paper and then cut them out. So this is really simple. This is nothing challenging or hard. Like I said, this is a great use of your scrap pieces that you might not be able to use for other things. And this would also, a glue stick would be fine for this. Usually I use my glue stick for this. Usually I don't use my Fabrifix glue for this kind of thing, but it's what I have out right now, so it's what's getting used. And then this little one, can I get this one in here? Yeah, I can fit this one right in the top up here. I just didn't want that fold on it. Right. All right, so there's the backs of each one of these cute little tags. We'll go ahead and cut these out now. Make sure that they're really stuck down good before we cut. So quiet in here today. All right, so there is one of my tags. It's very cute. Now you can definitely decorate and embellish these even more, which I'm going to do. It's my husband that you hear probably in the background. I think he's in a meeting also, but I don't know if you can hear him on the microphone or not. There's two, last one. This is a little tedious, but not hard. Now you could also round the edges of these tags, which I think I might do. Let's just cut these off. All right, there we go. There's our three tags. We've got three tags, and then they've got the wrapping paper on the back, which are pretty. All right, so let me grab my page corner rounder and also my hole punch. Let's round the edges on these. And you could also distress these if you want to. We'll distress them up a little bit. I'm just doing the bottom two corners here. All right, and we'll again go back with our distress oxide and frayed burlap, and I'm just going to go right around my edges. Thank you. Yeah, these are going to go in these little loaded pockets. All right. This was the tedious part. All right, so now we can decorate these a little bit. Let's punch holes in the top of each one, just so that we know where the holes are going to be. All right, so there are some tags. All right, so now let's decorate. So I have, these are a bunch of little die cuts from my digital, these little Forest Friends die cuts, which I'd like to use on some of the tags. Do that really quick. Let's see, let's get one just for an example. So here's one that I did. I used a little piece of baker's twine for the tag hanger. I also did eyelets, which I could do in these ones also. Let me grab my eyelet press. I think I've got my eyelets here. It might not be here. Actually, where is it? Nope, I don't have my eyelets here. They're in the other office. Oh no, I do have them. Sorry. All right, let's just pop some eyelets in these just to finish them off a little bit. Let's do gold because I have an abundance of gold. All right, so there's a little eyelet. We'll do the same in all three. Eyelets just finish things off a little bit. Makes everything kind of look a little bit more put together. You don't have to do the eyelets, but all right, perfect. There's some eyelets. All right, then, like I did on this one, let's decorate these up a little bit. So I used some of one of my digitals. The little trim piece here is a digital. I'm just looking to see if I have any more of that. Used a lot of my stuff up for my Patreon this past month because I have Patreon members who get happy mail and journals, and so I'm kind of just using up my scraps that I've used from that, and I don't have a whole lot left that I'd have to print out some more. This is kind of cute. I could put that in there somewhere. Oops. Yeah, sorry guys. I'm just like rummaging through my stuff here just to see what I want to use. Let's just use some lace. Let's just use some good old lace. Ooh, this is pretty. Although this has got purple on it. Unless I can get the purple off of it. That's pretty. Some more tiny lace. That's cute also. This little tiny lace. That's very cute. I like that. I'm going to just snip a piece of this off. Maybe use some of that. Yeah, the eyelets just kind of finish everything off. Whenever I'm doing something like this, kind of nice to just finish them off with like hardware. Okay, here's more of that netting, like I was saying, because I used some of the netting on this one right here in the background. So I can use some of that. And then, oh, I have this little piece of lace too, little scrap piece. This is some of the lace that I used on the front pocket, so maybe we'll use some of this also on something, just to kind of tie it all together. All right. This cute little gold piece. I have like a stash of, here's my stash of lace that I'm kind of going through right now. I have just a bunch of random odds and ends pieces in here. Just kind of searching through here, seeing what I want. I can always cut some pieces off, like these little pieces. I think I'm gonna just cut off and use some of these. Those are cute. I don't need that great big piece. And these are cute too. These little flowers, those might be cute. All right. Let's do something with some of this here. All right, so I've got this thicker lace, which is the same lace as the pocket itself. So I think I'm gonna put some of that on this front right here. And we're just gonna layer up. So I put that on. I'm gonna trim off these edges here after, when everything is kind of dried. Let's do, let's do this guy. Let's have him kind of sitting behind the lace. This little raccoon, he is cute, but he needs to be distressed up just a little bit because there's an offset on this when I cut these out, so it's white all around the edge. And so I'm gonna just distress these edges up just a little bit, so they blend a little bit with the coloring. There. Better. All right, so let's glue him on right there. I think he's super cute there. Kind of put him down behind that lace. Like that. And then maybe we'll put some of this. Oh, that's so cute. All right, I like that. I have this little embroidered applique on kind of like a netting. And this came off of, I don't remember what this came off of. Came off of something, and I cut all of these little embroidered pieces out. And it might have been like a tablecloth or something. But again, most all of my supplies I get from like the Goodwill. I have so much that I've gotten from the Goodwill. I very rarely buy anything new. All right, so I really like that. I think that is so cute. And the green works well with the green background. All right, so let's go ahead and put this down. I'm not going to cut that flower off. I'm going to leave that flower, but I'm going to cut, you know, I don't even need to really cut that, I don't think. Maybe I'll cut this side down a little bit because it looks a little frayed and I kind of like that. I'll just cut this side down slightly. There, and we can even kind of fray this side up a little bit. Take my, there, give it kind of more of a worn, weathered look. There, that is too cute. I really like that one. Why is this coming up as Jameson? Jameson's at school. This is so funny. You can come out and get a snack, yes, but that's Sean, not Jameson. But it's coming up as, oh, it's probably because it's his account. I was like, why is Jameson like on his phone at school or something? That's funny. But yes, you can come out and get a snack. I'm fine. I think that's good. I don't want to do too much more. I think that's just enough for that little tag. I think that's really cute. Let's get something. Let me grab a little bit of baker's twine or ribbon or something to tie this. Oh, I actually have this little gold. Let's use some of this. I have a little piece of gold ribbon here. Let's do a little knot. Yeah, it's coming out as Jameson. Yeah, you can come out. Just be quiet. You don't have to stay in there. All right, so now that I have a knot with a loop, I'm just going to pull this through like this. And we could actually put something up there to cover that a little bit. Let me see if I have some more of these cute little flowers. Maybe a little gray flower like that. See, this is where I need my hot glue. Put the little gray flower right there. Although this will work, the Fabrifix will work, it's just the hot glue works faster. All right, so there's one little tag for our loaded envelope or loaded pockets right there. All right, let's do these other two. Let's see, what else do I have here? I had this little piece. I was thinking, how would that look? I know I'd kind of go back to things. No, I'll wait. Let's do this little piece on something else. Let's do the little piece on maybe this pumpkin tag. You can kind of keep it simple. You don't have to do intricate on every tag. I'll just put a little glue across like that, and then we'll put this lace across there. Let that dry for a minute. We could do another little forest friend. Let's see, we could do a little mouse next to the pumpkin. Or I have a bunny rabbit. I like the mouse. Let's do the mouse. Oops. I'm just dressing him up again. All right, we'll put this little mouse like he's gonna jump on this pumpkin. There we go. And then I got another little applique, which you kind of put in the front like that. Or, actually, you know what? I'm going to use some of this on this one. Let's see, what else could I do? I feel like it needs something else. Up here, let me trim this edge off. We could do another little flower. Have all these little paper flowers. See if I can find something in here. Another little paper flower. Yeah, let's do that. Let's do those little paper flowers. This one has a little back on it, but I'm going to pull this little back off and I'm going to clip this little plastic. And then I'll put a little glue. And then I'll glue that onto the front of another one of these fabric flower petals like that. And then we'll glue this down to the front like that. Now I could have put some of this behind there also. That might have been cute, but I'll save that one. Oops, I lost my... See, this is where hot glue comes in handy because I lost the little center part of the flower. There it is. Just got to hold it there for a second with the Fabrifix. The Fabrifix isn't quite as fast as hot glue. So cute, right? I don't know, it's just so fun making these little tags. Like, you can just be super creative with them. Yeah, this isn't setting too quickly. Just set that aside. That's going to dry. I'm just going to let that one dry before I do anything more to that one. Okay, lastly, I have this one right here. Now this one has some images already on the front. So I think I'm going to take some of this. This is actually vintage. I bought some of this at one of the vintage malls that we have here locally. It's this little, what do you call it? Like frayed trim. It does pull apart a little bit, but I think I'm going to put some of this at the bottom on this one. So let's just put some Fabrifix there. We'll put this little trim on. And then we'll cut this off. Trim this side too. Oops. There. All right. I like this little gold piece, but I don't really have anything that it's going to work well with at the moment. How about another one of these little appliques? Or how about we layer this up? Yeah, I kind of like that. Let's layer this up with another piece of lace. We'll cover this. We'll cover this area. And we'll put some more lace right on top. Just like that. That's cute. That's very cute. Okay, and we'll just trim this one off. And what do we want to put on here? Do we want to put some of these? Put another little applique on there. What else do I have? That's white. These are too white, I think. I think those are too bright white. The cream colored ones are working a little bit better for me. How about, oh, here's some more of those cute little flowers like I had over there, but these ones have brown. Oh, we could do something like that. That's cute. I don't know. I'm just digging through scraps here, trying to decide what I want to do. I do like this. I like that brown. I think that's really cute. All right, let's use this. Let me just trim this up a little bit. There. And we'll put this one down. That's cute. Honestly, it doesn't really need much more. I think those are turning out pretty good. All right, now let's see. Did this glue into place finally? All right, let's get some, I'm just gonna go get some more baker's twine to do some little hang tags for these. Sean, what are you doing? This is Sean being a pain. Get out of here. He's always gonna do something. He's a jokester. All right, got some baker's twine. And we'll use, this is just kind of like a more natural colored baker's twine. Oh, thank you. Yeah, so for my Patreon right now, I'm trying to get my 2026 themes all done. I'm just about done with them, so they will be coming out very shortly. I'll be posting the theming for 2026 each month over on Patreon. If you're new, I have a Patreon. The link is in the description of the video. You can head on over. Basic membership is free. However, if you'd like to get access to my digitals or anything else, I do have a tiered membership level as well, which is like a monthly membership rate. And every month we do a different theme on Patreon. So I am working on the theming since we're in October already. We're already almost into November. I can't believe it. I'm trying to figure out what my themes for next year are going to be. And I just about have them all prepared. But if you are a member over there, you'll see what my themes are going to be coming up here soon. I'll be posting it probably this week. All right, so here are a couple of tags. Very cute. You could decorate these even more if you wanted to. But for now, for the sake of this live, I'm going to just kind of keep them as is. Make sure everything is glued into place here. I don't want to rip those off. All right, so some of the other things that I might put in these loaded pockets, I have these little stamps. These are part of my digital for this past month. So these are just fun little things. I like to add like little ephemera pieces. And so I might put like a couple of these little stamps in here. All right, so let's see. Let's put this guy here. We'll put this one here, and we'll put this one here. Like that. Then we've got these little things. And then I also like to put other little things in these loaded pockets as well. Like leaves or other flowers. Give me just a second here because I'm trying to find some other things. Like these are some cute little stickers. Got these fun little stickers you could stick in behind. Here's that tuck spot. You could stick some of these in there. just loaded up with all kinds of goodies. Now for this one, I actually did another type of a tag also. This one was, I literally was just using up scrap paper. I took 2 pieces of scrap paper. You can see here. One of my pieces of scrap paper, I took my press. Now if I have my press here. Yeah, I do have it right here. I have one of these edging presses right here, which makes like a cool little edge on some paper. What I did here for this is I used my edger to make a little cutout like this. And then I just took another scrap piece of paper and put behind it. Let's see, do I have one that's wide enough? How about one of these? I think one of these might work. See how I just took like another scrap piece and put behind it like that. And actually I did another little press at the bottom and I pushed the scrap out. And then I did a little eyelet at the top and obviously decorated it a little, but it just gave it a kind of a different look. Another fun little way to make a different style tag. I think what I did with this one is I flipped over the top like this and folded it, and then I put an eyelet in it to kind of hold it in place. So that's what I did on this one right here. I like flipped it over, I punched a hole and then put an eyelet in it, and the eyelet held it together. So let's see. Let's do right there. Like that. And just grabbing another eyelet. So there's another cute little tag. This one I didn't do, it's not super long where it's coming out the bottom, but just so you can kind of see a different variation of a style tag that you could do. And then I also added a little tassel with some beads on a bulb pin right there and just attached it to some ribbon. So just another fun little idea. I'll stick this one in here. And then this little straw that I did, I'm actually not going to make one of these because you need the hot glue to put this together, but I'll kind of show you what I did. I just took a straw. I had a bunch of these straws laying around. I cut them in half. The coloring I liked, these were actually for Halloween, but I added some more fall looking colors to it and I thought it worked well because there's some blacks in here. I pinched the end together and glued it together so that it would slide into whatever I was putting it into, like if you wanted to use it as a bookmark. And then I just curled some little pipe cleaners and added some flowers to the top of the curls. And then obviously I glued on a little ribbon. So super easy, and I just added that in to my loaded pocket here. And that gives it a little bit more dimension. It also, you know, is useful as a bookmark. And added in some more little digitals. I had added a leaf. I have a bunch of these little leaves, so I added a little leaf in there. So yeah, you can be super creative with these little loaded pockets. So yeah, that's it right there. So hope you guys enjoyed this little live tutorial today. I'm going to go ahead and make some more of these. I have quite a few of them I want to make because I give these out. These are great like little handouts for like teachers at Thanksgiving time, or like I mentioned, if you wanted to use these for place settings at Thanksgiving time, you could do a lot of like, you know, real Thanksgiving-esque, you know, decor with, you know, turkeys and pheasant and all of that. And then you could put their names right here on the front, which would be really cute. Anyhow, I am going to wrap it up for this live. Thank you guys for sticking around. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Hope you guys have a great rest of your Monday. Normally I try to do my lives on Wednesday. I missed last Wednesday because we were all sick, so I didn't even attempt to do a live then. But I might do another live this Wednesday. So today is kind of my makeup for last week. We'll see. We'll see what my schedule looks like. But anyhow, hope you guys have a great rest of your day. And again, go over and become a Patreon member. And that way you'll know what my upcoming themes for the next, throughout the next year are going to be. Thank you guys so much. Have a great rest of your day. Be safe as well. Goodbye, everybody. Have a great Monday. Take care, guys.